we got every worker to multiply tenfold, 100-fold, or why not even 1,000-fold their productivity, thus overcoming the Malthusian trap. Yet at some point in the 20th century, we lost our way, and the liberal principles that had made us free and prosperous were betrayed. A new political class, driven by collectivist ideologies and taking advantage of times of crisis, saw the perfect opportunity to accumulate power. All the wealth created by capitalism until then and into the future would be redistributed through some scheme of centralized planning, setting in motion a process whose disastrous consequences we are suffering today.
The whole world is watching the events, and now they're starting to talk about it. The UK has become the center of attention, and this is not the most pleasant moment. Argentine Prime Minister Javier Mele sharply criticized Kirstar and his government, condemning the British judicial system and exposing the methods used to silence the British. This harsh criticism has caused a wide public outcry, and many are beginning to wonder in which direction the UK is heading. Mele was not shy in his expressions, and his words resonated far beyond the borders of Argentina. He pointed to double standards, failures, and what he called a blatant suppression of freedom of speech. Foreign leaders rarely make such open criticism, but now the whole world is paying attention to it. In today's video, we'll take a look at Mele's harsh comments, analyze them, and discuss the implications for the political situation in the UK. He accused the judicial system of betraying its people, arguing that the British are losing their right to vote in a system that puts control above justice.
By promoting a socialist agenda, while insidiously operating within the liberal paradigm, this new political class distorted the values of liberalism. And so, they replaced freedom with liberation, using the coercive power of the state to redistribute the wealth created by capitalism. Their justification was the sinister, unjust, and abhorrent idea of social justice, complemented by theoretical Marxist frameworks aimed at liberating individuals from their needs. And at the core...
One user pointed out that Javier Mele spoke the truth at Davos, accusing the UK government of covering up terrible crimes and persecuting those who dare to speak openly. The truth can be painful, and it's time for someone with a platform like Mele's to highlight these issues. The UK government must be held accountable for its actions. The user expressed gratitude to Mele for the courage to tell the truth to the authorities, adding that we need more leaders who are not afraid to raise difficult issues and defend justice. The UK has become an object of ridicule on the world stage, and this will not change until the Labour Party leaves. Another user said, "Wow, powerful stuff," and the WEF leader woke up on the left. Excellent. One of the commentators added that there is no worse shame for a leader than being ridiculed on the world stage, and now it is our duty to share this shame. Chris thanked Javier Mele, noting that Argentina cares about our democracy. Another user was surprised that the Argentine stood up for the UK.
In our businesses, public institutions, and educational establishments, merit has been cast aside in favor of the doctrine of diversity, which represents a regression to the aristocratic systems of the past. Quotas are invented for every minority politicians can come up with, which ends up undermining the excellence of institutions. Wokeism has also distorted the issue of immigration. The free movement of goods and people is a fundamental pillar of liberalism. We know this well. Argentina, the United States, and many other countries became great thanks to immigrants who left their homelands in search of new opportunities. However, we have shifted from attracting foreign talent to foster development to now embracing mass immigration driven not by national interest but by guilt.
In other news, Foreign Minister David Lammy was accused of misleading parliamentarians over his decision to transfer the Chagos Islands to Mauritius. The draft agreement has faced a number of obstacles since it was announced in October, and Donald Trump was ready to veto the deal as Mauritius demands additional concessions from the UK. However, the latest scandal seems to have led to a split in the ranks of the Labour Party. At a Chagosian meeting in Parliament, Crawley MP Peter Baranina said there was no evidence of the veracity of the statements made in the House of Commons. The Voices of Chagosia campaign group reported that Lammy had not met with them throughout the negotiations. Foreign Minister Stephen Darty reportedly met with the group twice after agreeing on the trade agreement, but declined to discuss the negotiations. Darty met with members of the Chagosian community on the 30th of September and on the 3rd of October, but sources in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs claim that Afise maintained regular contacts with residents of Chagosa.
Now you, the British people, are being gaslit. You are being lied to. While the people always sensed there was something unusual about the Southport atrocities ever since that fateful day, the authorities have hid behind legal processes and bureaucracies. Yesterday, Keir Starmer admitted that he knew the details about Axel Ruda-Cabana's background long before they came out. Check out this clip.
Yes, I knew the details as they were emerging. That is the usual practice in a case such as this. But you know and I know that it would not have been right to disclose those details.
But this is not consistent with Keir Starmer's previous actions during.
Since the beginning of 2025, British retailers and consumers are facing increasing difficulties that are causing anxiety and concern. According to shocking data from GfK, consumer confidence collapsed to -34 in January, down from -27 in December. This sharp drop reflects growing fears of job losses, lower disposable incomes, and increased spending caused by recent budget changes. Large retailers, already under pressure due to inflation and cost cuts, are preparing for a catastrophic increase in operating costs by about £7 billion due to higher national insurance contributions and a new packaging tax. Many experts warn that rising prices and job cuts are only exacerbating economic problems, creating an atmosphere of uncertainty and fear. Clive Black of Shore Capital is sounding the alarm, arguing that the UK may already be on the verge of a technical recession, blaming Labour's policies for slowing economic growth.
Last night, time and time again, Rishi Sunak was clobbering you over the head with that £2,000 tax line. It took you almost half an hour to call it garbage. What on earth took you so long?
What matters is the facts. None of our plans involve tax rises for working people, and I'll spell it out. No income tax rises, no national insurance, no VAT. But what emerged from last night, and this is a very important takeaway, is that the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, with his back against the wall, desperately trying to defend their record in office, resorted to lies, and he knows he was lying. And I don't say that lightly. Lying about our plans, lying about waiting lists, and lying about votes. And therefore the choice at the election is even clearer now, which is to turn our back, turn a page on the lies, the division and the chaos of the last 14 years and rebuild the country with Labour.
The unemployment rate soared to 4.4% in November, and wages showed the sharpest drop since the pandemic. Retailers such as Primark are on the brink of survival, reporting a 4% decline in UK sales from mid-September to January, while their competitors in Europe and the US are showing more optimistic results. Analysts predict that recessions will occur more frequently in the future, and Bloomberg Economics points to a depressing decline in growth rates to 1.2%. Chief economist Dan Hansen emphasizes that these downturns may be less severe, but more widespread, which creates even greater anxiety for the population. Neil Bellamy of GfK notes that public confidence in the UK economy is rapidly weakening, and consumers are preparing for even more difficult times. In the face of such uncertainty, Labour Party Chancellor Rachel Reeves, speaking in Davos, promised to accelerate economic growth through reforms in infrastructure and planning, which is an important step, but is doubtful to many.
13% of the asylum seekers, or the people who claim asylum, in the European Union. Now, that could take us to about 180,000 a year. What he will succeed in doing is reducing the number of small boat crossings of the Channel. So he will, because in that 180,000 will be the 40+ thousand who would otherwise come across on boats. There may still be some people who come across on boats, those who aren't selected to come here, but essentially we're talking about 180,000 instead of, through various means, including the Channel crossings, probably in the region of 57,000, 60,000 who come over to claim asylum at the moment. Now, does he understand that, yes or no? I think he does. In which case he is lying to the British people. He is manipulating things. And I think he's going after securing the vote of the people who say the way to solve the small boat crossing.
Finally, Donald Trump was called upon to release Prince Harry's immigration details amid accusations that the Duke of Sussex may have lied about his past substance use upon entering the United States. The Heritage Foundation, a Washington-based conservative think tank, is demanding access to Harry's visa documents to find out if he has reported his drug use in the past. This requirement arose after the publication of Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, in 2023, where he openly shares his experience of substance use in the past. The think tank wonders why Harry and his wife Meghan were allowed to enter the United States in 2020, given that visa applicants are required to report any use. Share your thoughts in the comments. See you later.